back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Ariel, and today we're going to be talking about the match process. If you're on social media at all, you have seen at least one match reveal video or match day video. And if you're not in medicine, you don't know what the hell it is. And if you are thinking about going to medicine, you probably still don't know what's going on. And so today I want to explain what it is, why people are so emotional, why it's such a stressful process, and how you can get through it if a life in medicine is what you want. Unfortunately, going into medicine is not your typical career choice where you just apply to the job that you want and you get it. The way that it works is in your 4th year of medical school, you go through an entire application process of all of the hospitals and all of the specialties that you would want to go to. Match day is the day where you find out as a med student where you'll be spending your next 4 to 7 years for training for residency. The entire process starts in September of the previous year where you submit the application for the specialty choice that you want to go into, whether it be anesthesiology, dermatology, PNMR, internal medicine, or any of the other specialties. Basically what you do is you apply to as many programs as you want across the country, and then after you submit your applications, you wait to see if they selected you for an interview. So what is the match? So in your final year of med school, you apply for residency. That's where you'll do your training in your specialty after graduating. After you have applied to those programs and after you've interviewed, you rank programs that you want, and then programs rank the list of students that they want, and AI basically chooses where you go. Well, it's not AI, but it is an algorithm that decides where students will go. I know that sounds crazy, but this algorithm did win a Nobel Prize, so that's gotta mean something, right? Now, this algorithm that won the Nobel Prize in economics, it used to be program facing, which means programs basically get to decide where students go. If you ranked a program low, but they wanted you, they could kind of pull you because it was program facing, but now it is the opposite way around and it is applicant facing. So the algorithm will always try to match you with your top choice, just as long as the place that you match first also matched you high enough for you to go into that program. That means that students have a better chance of going to their first, second, or third pick than they used to in the past. So let me give you a timeline of your whole 4th year of medical school. So in the summer and early fall, that's when you're finishing up your away rotations, get your letters of recommendation, you start your personal statement, and you just start working on your application for residence. Then by September, that is when you would submit your application to ERAS, which is also known as the Electronic Residency Application Service. Then in the months of October through January is when all of your interviews will be taking place. Now, students have the option to do virtual interviews after COVID, so that really does help with the cost, because I did not mention that applying to residency programs is very expensive and it comes all out of the student's pocket. Then in February, that is when your rank list is due after you've interviewed. Now, you don't have to rank a program if you had an interview there and you did not like it, because remember, if you rank that place, there is a chance that you could get matched there. So if you went there and you do not like that place at all, you do not have to put it on your rank list. And March is when you match. Match is normally the 2nd or 3rd week of March. That Monday, you find out if you matched, yes or no. And then Friday, you'll find out where you matched and into which specialty if you applied to more than one specialty. It's important to know that when interviews drop, you need to act fast, because most schools have a certain amount of time where they're willing to let you schedule an interview, and if you miss that time, you miss your interview.
You're too late. It's gone.
Also, you want to get the best interview date possible that aligns with your schedule, so the longer you wait, the more likely some other student that also got offered an interview will take the spot that you need. As soon as interviews drop, that whole season, most medical students are on their phone constantly, checking their emails, making sure that they get the email as soon as possible, which can be challenging if you're still in rotations like surgery or you're seeing patients as well. It is just a really stressful time all in all for med students. And yeah, and I was telling you how expensive it is to apply to residency. Yeah, that's like $2,000 to $5,000, which is literally insane. Like, most students are on loans anyways, and you have to take out even more loans just to apply to residency. We literally got an email from our school last week basically saying that for people who take loans out, they're gonna raise the cost of attendance $2,000 so that your loans will give you an extra $2,000 so that you can use for aways and applications, and because all of that shit comes out of your own pocket. That's just insane to me. And also, there's this new thing that came out, I don't know, like a year or two ago, called signals. So you have like a certain amount of signals. You send those to the schools that you really want to go to, letting them know like, hey, I really want to go here. Because ideally you'd want to go to do an away rotation at the school that you want to go to, but there's just not enough money and not enough time in the year for you to do an away rotation at all of the places that you're interested in going to. So by chance, if there's a place that you didn't do an away rotation at that you really want to go to, you can send them a signal and be like, hey, like, just so you know, like, you're really high on my list, which will hopefully increase the chances that they rank you high on their list so that you match with them in match day.
So pick me. Choose me. Love me.
It's just insane. And then there's also a limited amount of signals that you can, so you can't signal everybody. And I'm pretty sure the places that you signal can see where else you've signaled or something like that. But it can boost your chances of getting an interview at that school. So there is still like a silver lining. So that's the process of applying to residency and submitting your rank list if you're individually matching. Now, if you're couples matching, it's even more of a shit show. Couples match lets two people match together and hopefully get placed at the same program or programs next to each other. So the way it works is like you don't just match school A, school B, school C, you match pairs of programs. So like, let's say a couple wants to be at school A and the other person in the couple wants to be at school B. So you'd rank school A plus school B as one, and then you could rank school A plus school A for your second, and then you could rank school B plus school B. And so it's a lot more strategic, but if it works out, it's a good thing, because if you weren't able to couples match, there could be students who are in a relationship with each other landing on completely opposite sides of the country for residency, which is hectic because right when you graduate from medical school is that, you know, people are about 26 to 29. You're in your late 20s, so that's when people want to start having kids and getting married, and that's just even more delayed if you are spending 3 to 7 years of your life completely separated from your significant other. Sometimes that happens anyways, even if you do couples match. There's just really no guarantee with this thing. And then recently, there are some specialties that don't use the same match system as everybody else.
Why does everything have to be so complicated?
For example, urology and ophthalmology use different matching programs completely, and instead of matching in March, they match in late January, early February. So their application process is also very different. OB-GYN also has a different match program, as well as emergency medicine soon. They are kind of parting ways from the ERAS NRMP situation. So there's a lot of changes happening with this match program. It's not perfect, and they keep trying to adjust it. And honestly, I don't know if these changes are for the better or for the worse, but that has nothing to do with me because I'm military match, so literally none of this applies to me, thank God. So I mentioned away rotations a little bit ago. Let's talk more about what those are. Those are interviews. They're audition rotations where you get to go to the school that you are interested in going to for residency and do exactly what you're doing in medical school, but in front of those people. So for example, if I wanted emergency medicine and I wanted to go to Mayo Clinic, I would apply to Mayo Clinic and say, hey, is it okay if I come and do an emergency medicine rotation for about 2 to 4 weeks with your students? And then they say yay, nay, whatever. And then you'd basically go, you'd do the same thing that you would do in any emergency medicine rotation. You'd see patients, you'd work with residents, you'd work with attendings, but that's a way for them to meet you and actually see how you would be in their program. And as I said before, like, that is completely on your own dime. So you have to find a place to live for 2 to 4 weeks. You have to feed yourself. It's completely across the country. Everything is on the student. Away rotations are also very competitive to get, just as into residency is, because these programs normally only have space for maybe 2 to 3 students for that month, and they've got thousands of applicants from all over the country wanting to go there. So a lot of the times you don't end up being able to do an away rotation at a place that you'd want to go to residency, which then can or cannot affect your chances of matching there. And there are other things that can influence your possibility of matching. Unfortunately, one of those is where you went to medical school. If you're an MD student versus DO school student versus an IMG student. MD students match the most. They have the highest chance of matching. DO students are catching up, and then IMG students are also have good odds of matching, but it does take a lot of strategy, and I would be lying if I said that it wasn't harder than it would be for the other 2 students. I'm not saying that to discourage anybody, because you can match any specialty from anywhere if you have the right strategy, determination, good mentors. But you need to go into this knowing what you're getting yourself into so that you can set yourself up for the most success as possible. I have friends that are MD students, DO students, and IMG students who've all matched their exactly where they wanted to go first choice, and I've had the exact opposite where they didn't match and they're MD students, or they didn't get their first choice and they're MD students, and it really is student specific. But as a whole, I'm letting you know that on average, MD students match the most, then DO students, and then IMG students. Now, what if you don't match? Like Like, what happens then? So if you don't match, you have to go through the SOAP, which is Supplemental Offer and Acceptance Program, which basically on that week of match day, that Monday, you find out if you did or didn't match. If you did match, that's great. And on Friday, you'll find out where you matched. If you didn't match, that entire week, you have time to fight for the spots that are still open. And then hopefully on Friday, you too will end up finding out where you matched. Basically, it's like speed dating for people's leftovers. So if you wanted like anesthesiology and you didn't match, but there's no open spots, you can still fight for whatever spots open, whether it be emergency medicine, IM, peds. You just kind of get what you can take. Or you can say no and do something else for a year and then come back and reapply to match again, which I know sounds really daunting. You literally spend your whole life trying to be a doctor just for you to not be a doctor. A year doing God knows what until you have the chance to still commit your time to learning how to save lives. The more that I talk about it, the more it pisses me off, because I'm like, this is just like ridiculous. Like, how am I begging you to pay me literally nothing, because residents get paid nothing, and you're basically like, no. On that Friday across the country, match day is the same for everyone. It's normally at 12 o'clock on a Friday, where all of the med students open up a little envelope and they find out where they're going to residency. Now, when you apply to residency, when you use ERAS or any other, whatever you use, you're signing a document that legally binds you to go wherever you matched at. You don't have the choice of saying, oh, I matched here, I don't want to go here, never mind. That's not an option. That's why it's so important not to put anything on your rank list where you wouldn't want to be, because if by chance they also ranked you, there's a chance that you're gonna go there if you put that on your rank list. And if you try to back out, there's a risk that you get banned from ever trying to match again. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit, basically. And as I said before, I'm military match, so I don't have to worry about any of this shit. But that is a whole different process. It has a completely different timeline that I will explain in a different video. But yeah, that is the process of how you get your first job as a doctor. That's why it's such an emotional process that you guys see on the internet, because it's so hectic, chaotic, expensive, and just anxiety inducing that by the time you get to Friday, you're just literally drained after a year of this runaround and everything else. But hopefully I did a good job of explaining that. As always, if you have any questions, please drop it in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.